Listen to the rhythm of the Southeast Asian monsoon. This heavy, relentless rain dictates the pace of life along the rivers of Siam. If we want to know what the people living in those river communities were cooking centuries ago, we hit a historical wall. In 1767, an invading Burmese army burned the Siamese capital of Ayutthaya to the ground. The fire destroyed the royal libraries and administrative records, taking every native culinary text of the era with it. This map of Ayutthaya reveals a city defined by water, its canals integrating food systems directly into the river ecosystem. To uncover its ancient cuisine, historians use culinary backpropagation, cross-referencing 19th century recipes with journals of 17th century European diplomats who navigated these very trade routes. Because the archives were lost to the flames, the true story of Thailand's most famous dish isn't found in a book. It has to be reconstructed through culinary archaeology. On the veranda of a stilted wooden house along the Chao Phraya River, a 17th century cook prepares a broth. She is wrapped in a traditional cotton chongkraben, working carefully in the heavy, high humidity of the lush riverbank. We usually expect Thai food to be built on the heat of red chili peppers, but in this ancient kitchen, those peppers were missing. Chili peppers are native to the Americas. While Portuguese traders were beginning to introduce the crop to Southeast Asia during the late 1600s, chilies had not yet become a staple of the everyday Siamese diet. Instead, heat and sourness came from the local forest. This cook relied on native long pepper, called dipri, for a slow, medicinal warmth, and used the foraged green madon fruit instead of the modern lime. The sharp profile of early Siamese broths was the result of indigenous medicinal botany, ingredients selected to manage the body's response to the tropical climate. The process begins with the sound of a stone pestle. The cook crushes dried long pepper spikes and small cloves of native garlic, breaking down the fibers to release their oils. Wild shallots are charred whole directly over coconut shell charcoal. The intense heat breaks down the shallots, drawing out their natural sugars to balance the bitter herbs. When selecting protein, the cook follows a specific cultural boundary. Adhering to Buddhist values, these riverside communities avoided the slaughter of large land animals. They looked to the water instead. They harvested wild giant river prawns, peeling the bodies but leaving the large, heavy heads completely intact. The broth is built in a portable terracotta brazier. Jasmine-scented rainwater is brought to a boil, and a spoonful of kapi, a fermented shrimp paste, is dissolved into the liquid to provide a deep, salty base. This combination created a diaphoretic medicine. By stimulating sweat, the soup helped the body cool its core temperature and clear the lungs during the oppressive humidity of the monsoon. The most significant change in the broth occurs when those intact, shell-on prawn heads hit the boiling water. The heat forces the orange tamale out from the head cavities. This prawn fat emulsifies into the clear water, shifting the liquid from transparent to a rich, opaque orange. This extraction provided the soup's texture and color centuries before the addition of modern ingredients like evaporated milk or roasted chili jams. The 17th century cook used the natural anatomy of the river's prawns to build the base of the soup, relying on the catch itself to provide the necessary fats. Once the pot is removed from the fire, the cook adds the shredded modern fruit. Adding this sourness off the heat ensures the acidity remains sharp and bright. A handful of wild holy basil is torn by hand and scattered over the bowl. This aromatic herb masks the earthy odors of the river catch and adds a final peppery note. This version of Tom Yum Goong is served in simple earthenware bowls alongside a portion of steamed rice. This diet supported one of the largest urban populations in the pre-modern world. Ayutthaya at its peak was a global trade hub of nearly 1 million people, all living within this dense network of canals and wooden houses. The proto-recipe shows a specific logic, a combination of sour fruit, river protein, and wild herbs that functioned as both a meal and a remedy. The brick ruins of the capital and its burned archives mark what was lost in 1767, but the culinary methods were never confined to the libraries. The recipe evolved over the following centuries, eventually incorporating chilies and modern garnishes, but the structural identity of the dish remained the same. In 2024, this continuity was recognized by UNESCO, which added Tom Yum Goong to the representative list of the intangible cultural heritage of humanity. The physical city of Ayutthaya was destroyed, but the technical knowledge of the Siamese kitchen remains visible in every bowl. Listen to the rhythm